Prime Minister is calling for bars, supermarkets and the drinks industry to do more to help ensure responsible drinking. David Cameron wants to tackle what he calls the scandal of public drunkenness and alcohol abuse in England. Scotland has already introduced an alcohol bill which could become law before the summer. Well, our correspondent Tamsin Smith is in Kingston upon Thames for us this afternoon. And Tamsin, a particular problem there with irresponsible drinking?
Well, yes, there is, as there are in many places in the UK, but Kingston has a thriving nighttime economy, one of the biggest nighttime economies in Greater London, in fact. I'm in the Druids Head pub in the centre of Kingston. It's pretty quiet at the moment, you can see behind me, but it does get really busy here at night, and especially at the weekends. And there's a big young population here, which of course leads to its own problems. Now, I'm joined by Chris Dingle, who is president of the Students' Union at Kingston University here. Can you tell us a bit about the extent of the problem of binge drinking amongst young people?
Well, I can. Part of the problem binge drinking is students and young people tend to grow up with this as an influence on their lives, and it can lead to all kinds of problems, particularly with antisocial behaviour, particularly with night crime. Within the town centre of Kingston, particularly night crime can be quite a big problem.
What have you done about this?
Well, I mean, within the Student Union we run 3 bars ourselves, and we operate as many of the corporate social responsibility policies that we can. This includes things like minimum pricing on drinking, which I know something that's being talked about a lot in the press today, which is particularly effective, but it also is a matter of giving education and information to students about the dangers of drinking too much, about being aware of how much they're drinking and making sure they're leading that kind of healthy lifestyle.
Let's talk about that raising the minimum price, because that is something that the Prime Minister is going to be talking about, we believe, later on. I mean, in your experience, do you think that means that students will spend less on alcohol, or will they find other ways?
No, certainly they'll find other ways. I mean, certainly the data we have is that students are spending less money on going out into the town centre and socialising, particularly with the current economic climate, which is hitting young people extremely hard. However, what they are doing is then managing to spend more time at home before they go out for a night out. We know that roughly students will spend around £7.50 on drinking before they go out for a night out. So students will find other ways, which is why the minimum pricing can be important, particularly when you've got supermarkets that can sell alcohol at particularly low prices. That means that it's just driving people to do it at home before they go out, and which means they're reaching the pubs and clubs in a worse state already.
So they're engaging in what you describe as tactical drinking at the moment?
Yes, very much, and that's part of the culture at the moment is about you will pre-drink before you go out, and this is something that's actually in some ways more dangerous because you can do it in the safety of your own home. There aren't any of the balances and checks that are sort of around in the unlicensed trade within the public now, and it's outside of our sphere of influence. We have a duty of care to our students. It's important that we promote safe and responsible drinking. When they're doing it at home and then turning up in that state, it's very difficult for us to then manage.
Chris, thank you very much for talking to us. Come back, join us later on. We're going to be talking to the NHS about the impact locally of binge drinking and how they're dealing with it and the pressures that it's placing on them. Back to you.
Tamsin, thanks very much indeed. We'll see you a little later.